Here is what nobody tells you about being an investor as an NRI. You have access to two completely different investment worlds, but most people get trapped in just one. I have invested in both India's high growth markets as an NRI and the UK's global markets as a British resident. After 3 years of real money, real mistakes, and real lessons, I know exactly which approach works when. If you are earning pounds but you are confused about where to invest them in 2025, this video will end that confusion forever. I am sharing the advantages and pitfalls of both the markets, the hidden cost that shocked me, and my exact framework for choosing my investments. Stay till the end because the obvious choice might be completely wrong for your situation. I am Dr. Suman, and if you are new here, welcome to my channel where I help NRIs and UK residents build wealth intelligently. I moved from India to the UK back in 2015, become an NHS consultant, and learned something crucial along the way. Having a UK salary and knowing where to invest that salary are two completely different skills. Here is the thing. As an NRI living in the UK, you have unique advantage. You can invest in India's high growth markets while also accessing the global market through the UK's tax efficient ISA account. But this advantage becomes a curse if you don't understand the rules of each of the game. I made every mistake possible. I have paid unnecessary taxes, dealt with compliance nightmares, and watched currency fluctuations eat into my returns. But I have also discovered strategies that most financial advisors won't tell you. Today, I am breaking down both options completely. The real advantages of investing in India as an NRI beyond just the growth story everyone talks about. The hidden power of UK investing that most NRIs completely miss. And most importantly, how to decide which approach fits your specific situation. Before we dive in, hit the subscribe button if you want more honest, practical advice about wealth building as an NRI in the UK. The strategies I'm sharing today could literally save you thousands in taxes and help you avoid the costly mistakes that I made. Let me start with something most people don't realize. As an NRI in the UK, you are not just choosing between two countries, you are choosing between two completely different investment ecosystems. In India, you are betting on high growth, high returns, familiar companies, rupee depreciation potentially working in your favor, but you are also dealing with compliance, currency risk, and tax implications that can turn a winning investment into a headache. In the UK, you are betting on access and efficiency, global developed market, tax wrappers like ISA, regulatory protection, but you might miss out on India's growth story and pay the price of already expensive developed market valuations. Here is what I wish someone had told me when I started investing. The question isn't which market is better. The question is which approach fits your life, your timeline, and your tolerance for complexity. Let me break down both sides, starting with the one that nearly drove me crazy. Let's talk about investing in India first, because this is where most NRIs get emotionally attached due to something called home bias. And that's exactly where the problems start. Let's talk about the obvious advantages of investing in India. The growth story is real. Over the past 5 years, the Nifty 50 has delivered around 12% annual returns. Compare that to the FTSE 100's 7% per year, and you can see why everyone gets excited. You understand the Indian market, you know Reliance, TCS, HDFC Bank, you can read the news, you understand the politics, feel connected to the companies you are investing in. Currency depreciation can work for you. When the rupee weakens against the British pound, your returns get a boost when converted back. But here is where it gets complicated and expensive. First, the liberalized remittance scheme. You can send up to $250,000 per year to India, but every transfer cost money. Bank charges, currency conversion spread, documentation requirements. I have paid anywhere between 50 to 200 pound per transfer depending on the amount that I'm sending. Then comes tax nightmare. You are filing returns in both the countries. India charges 12.5% long-term capital gains tax on your equity gains above 1 lakh. The UK wants to tax your worldwide income. Double taxation relief exists, but good luck navigating that paperwork if you are trying to do it on your own. I will never forget my first year filing taxes after investing in India. 3 different accountants, 2 months of back and forth with HMRC, and a £500 professional fee later, I was questioning whether the extra returns were worth all this effort. The next problem is the compliance burden. Maintain NRI bank account, file Indian tax return, report foreign assets to UK HMRC, keep detailed records of all of these transactions, navigate changing regulations in both the countries. Honestly, that's a lot. But here is what really shocked me: the time cost. I was spending 2 to 3 hours every month just managing the Indian investments. Research, monitoring, compliance, transfers, emailing the accountant. As an NHS doctor earning £70 per hour, that time had real value in those days. The question became, was the extra return worth the extra complexity? Now let me tell you about UK investing and why I completely underestimated it when I first arrived in the UK. Most Indians think UK investing means buying British companies. Wrong. Completely wrong. Through a simple stocks and shares ISA, I can invest in the entire world. US tech giants, European dividend aristocrats, emerging market growth stories, even Indian companies through global ETFs, all from one platform, all tax-free. So let's discuss the ISA advantage. £20,000 per year, completely tax-free growth. No capital gains tax, no dividend tax, no income tax on profit ever. Let me put this in perspective. If you are a higher rate taxpayer earning over £50,000 in a year, you would normally pay 20% capital gains tax. On a £10,000 profit, that's £2,000 straight to the HMRC. In an ISA, you keep every penny. The second advantage of ISA is global access. One ETF can give you exposure to 3,000 plus companies across 50 plus countries. Want India exposure? You may consider Franklin India ETF or FRIN or Vanguard Emerging Market ETF, which has 18% in Indian companies. You want US tech? Go for Nasdaq ETF. Want everything? All World ETF. By the way, this is not an investment advice or recommendation. You can lose your money during investment, so please do your own research or consult a financial advisor if you want help. Here is what blew my mind. Through UK platforms, I was getting better access to global markets than some of my friends living in India. They were limited to domestic mutual funds with high fees. I was buying low-cost ETF with Indian exposure, global diversification, and zero tax implications. You should also consider the simplicity factor of UK ISA investment. One platform, one login, automatic dividend reinvestment, no currency conversion headache, no dual country tax filing, FCA and FSCS protection, particularly for cash products up to £85,000, and you can withdraw the money anytime without any penalty, unless it's a lifetime ISA. But here is the trade-off. You are giving up some potential upside. If India delivers 20% returns and you are only getting 12% through global diversification, you have left money on the table. You are also betting on developed markets efficiency over emerging market growth story. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But here is what most people miss, and this changed everything for me. After 3 years of investing in both these countries and systems, losing money on mistakes, and finally finding what works for me, I have developed a simple framework. I call it the NRI Investment Decision Matrix. Factor 1 here is your investment time horizon. Less than 5 years, you should ideally avoid equity markets, but you can use cash ISA option to park your savings in the short term. For this, UK wins every time. The tax efficiency and the simplicity outweigh any potential extra returns from India or even NRI bank accounts. 5 to 10 years, it depends on the other factors, particularly if you would want to return to India in the long term or stay in the UK. But a combination of both this country is probably better for most people. More than 10 years, India becomes more attractive, but only if you can handle all of these complexities. This is more appropriate if you actually want to return back to India, perhaps after an early retirement or in the long term. The second factor to consider is your hassle tolerance. Rate yourself 1 to 10. How much do you enjoy dealing with paperwork, tax filing, currency conversions, and regulatory changes? If you are below 7, stick to UK investing. Trust me on this. If you are 8 plus, you might enjoy the India investment route, but factor in the time cost as well. Third factor is your tax situation. If you are a basic rate taxpayer between 12,570 to 50,270 pound per year, ISA is good for you, but Indian investment might also work for you. If you are a higher rate taxpayer earning more than 50,270 pound per year, ISA becomes incredibly powerful option for you. If you are additional rate taxpayer earning 125, 140 per year, you would be crazy not to max out your ISA allowance first. The fourth factor is your investment knowledge. Can you research individual Indian companies, understand the currency risk, navigate regulatory changes, or do you prefer a simple diversified set and forget investing? There is no wrong answer, but be honest with yourself. After all this analysis, here is what I do. 100% of my new money goes into UK ISAs with global ETFs. 5 to 10% goes into Indian ETFs within my ISA, which is for specific opportunities I understand well. Why? Because I value my time. I am a higher rate taxpayer in the UK, and I have learned that simple often beats complex investing. But your situation might be completely different. Let me show you exactly how to apply this framework to your specific circumstances. Here is your action plan. Alright, let's make this practical. I am going to give you a step-by-step action plan based on 3 common NRI situations. Find yourself in one of this and you will know exactly what to do. Scenario 1, the busy professional. You are probably earning 60,000 plus, working long hours. Maybe you are a doctor, consultant, or in tech. You want your money to grow but don't want investing to become a second job. Your move: max out your ISA allowance first. £20,000 per year into a simple global ETF. For example, the Vanguard All World or Invesco FTSE All World. Set up a direct debit and then forget about it. Once you have built £100,000 plus portfolio within your ISA, then consider India for 10 to 20% of your new money. Scenario 2 is the India optimist. You believe in India's growth story and you don't mind the extra paperwork, and you have the time or a very good accountant to research and manage investments and the tax actively. Your move is still max out your ISA first, but use it for non-India exposure. Then transfer the extra money directly to Indian investment, but set a limit, never more than 20 to 30% of your total portfolio in India, no matter how exciting the opportunities are. And scenario 3 is the balanced approach. You want Indian exposure, but you also want the simplicity of global diversification. Your move could be use your ISA for emerging market ETF that includes India. You get around 50 to 20% Indian exposure through funds within your ISA. For example, the Vanguard Emerging Market or FRIN, plus exposure to China, Taiwan, and other emerging market. Simple, tax efficient, globally diversified portfolio. No matter which scenario you are in, never invest in India until you are maxed out your ISA allowance. That £20,000 ISA allowance is use it or lose it. The tax benefits are too valuable to waste. Think about it, £20,000 per year for 20 years at 7% growth, all tax free, equals £820,000. Try getting that kind of tax efficiency anywhere else. Here are some of the common mistakes to avoid. Number 1, don't chase last year's winners. Indian markets had a great 2023 and really good 2024 first half, but that doesn't guarantee 2025 will be a good year. Don't underestimate currency risk. I have seen 10% investment gains wiped out by pound to rupee appreciation. Number 3 is don't ignore the time cost of managing your investment. Your time has value, factor it into your returns. And number 4 is don't put all your eggs in one basket, no matter how confident you feel. Look, here is the truth about NRI investing that no one wants to tell you. There is no perfect answer. Both India and UK investing have their place, but the right choice depends entirely on you and your personal circumstances. What I can tell you is this: I have made every possible mistake so you don't have to. I have paid unnecessary taxes, dealt with compliance nightmares, and learned expensive lessons about currency risk and complexity cost. The framework I have shared today isn't theory. It's battle tested with real money over last 3 years. Here are your next steps. Number 1, calculate your ISA allowance remaining for this tax year. You have until April 5th to use it or you will lose it. Number 2 is open a stocks and shares ISA account if you haven't already. I use Invest Engine. Check out my portfolio update videos and the referral link in the description of that video. Step number 3 is start simple. One global ETF is better than the analysis paralysis that you might have before you consider investing. Now I want to hear from you. Which approach are you leaning towards? Drop a comment below and I read every single one of them. If this video was helpful, you need to watch my next video where I break down the common funds that you might consider to get started with your first investing. Hit subscribe if you want more honest, practical advice about building wealth as an NRI in the UK. No fluff, no generic advice, just real strategies that actually work. This is Dr. Suman helping you build your wealth one decision at a time. I will see you in the next video.